Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Catherine, and today we are going to experience a game called Chicken Police. This game is a wild tale of love, death, chickens, and redemption. Chicken Police, painted red, is critically acclaimed award-winning narrative noir adventure with a complex interrogation system and mystery-solving detective gameplay. This game has been developed by The Wild Gentleman and it was published in 5th of November 2020 by HandyGames. I will not have music during this playthrough because it is copyrighted, and the only places where you will hear occasional music are the cutscenes because they have been built so that I cannot separate music and our characters talk during them. Without further ado, let's begin this wonderful looking game. I'm so excited! Dead men are heavier than broken hearts. Raymond Chandler, The Big Sleep.
I ran out to get a pack of cigarettes, but I left my wallet at home. Yeah, that's me. I'm getting old. My name is Sonny Featherland, an investigator for 20 years, and once the star of the predatory division of the Clawville Police Department, one half of the legendary Chicken Police. But buying a pack of smokes is more than I can handle right now. Maybe I should just lay low. Yeah, I'll do that. The most colorful place in the wilderness. For all the gods, what bullshit. The last clucking color left this city years ago. And slowly I'll turn gray too. Still, what do I expect? We're living in a vast experiment, and don't even notice that everything got clucked up a long time ago. We believe in this wonderland of peaceful coexistence. Wolves and sheep, chickens and hounds. Yeah, sure, why not? It's just ridiculous. The dog eats the chicken. It's in our nature. I'm not propping up the illusion anymore. 121 days, and it's over. Retirement. What could possibly go wrong? Ah, crap. My office lock is a piece of shit if a dame can pick it. She stood in the darkness. The light painted stripes on her body. It whispered secret little things that were never there in the first place. But she was no zebra. Reality was just a light switch away. Elizabeth or Charlotte? I was sure she'd have a sophisticated-sounding name. She had a bygone look in her eyes, older than this ancient building, and perhaps the whole city itself. Or maybe I'm just drunk. But she was the first womanly thing in my place for a long time, so I had to give her a chance.
Okay. That's quite the beginning we have there. So it looks like this is our office, okay. And this is our client, probably.
I don't see colors anymore. Only emptiness. Everything faded. I need another drink.
Okay, so I need to keep in mind that this is actually pretty, or it seems like it's fully voiced, which is amazing. Our main character's voice is very fitting for this kind of character, and immediately the visuals and the sound design, the voice acting gives me this really wonderful vintage detective noir movie vibes. And I love it.
Books I'm never gonna read. Maybe nobody ever has.
Okay. Our table. Cheap whiskey.
Every whiskey has the same color nowadays. At least in this price range.
Typewriter.
I promised myself I'd write a novel one day.
Okay. The wilderness.
I wanted to travel the world when I was a kid, but I think I'm gonna end up dead in here whether I like it or not.
Oh, you still have time to travel around. Oh, our office looks so cozy. I mean, well, we might need to tidy up a bit, truth to be told, but it still looks cozy. Perhaps we should talk to our client. So, oh, okay. What can we do? We can speak, look, question, ask. What is the difference between question and ask? Well, I suppose the game is gonna tell me later. Let's begin by looking at her.
Who is this dame, anyway? And what the cluck is she doing in my apartment on New Year's Eve?
Okay, it's New Year's Eve. Good to know.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Deborah, Miss Deborah Ibanez.
You're mistaken, ma'am.
Oh, really? Please enlighten me, Mr. Featherland.
I'm not a private eye. I'd recommend Mr. Philmar Lowe instead of me. He's a nice guy.
Believe me, Mr. Featherland, it's not an accident I came to you.
Look, miss, I work for the police, and I'm currently on leave. I couldn't accept private commissions even if I wanted to. Not even from a classy dame like you.
Am I that easy to read?
That's my job. But tell me, since you've invited yourself in, would you like a drink?
I don't usually drink.
Well, I've gotta have one. And it'd be rude of me to drink alone. So, maybe some sherry?
If you insist. But bourbon, please.
Ah, thank the wild ones. That's all I have.
What a coincidence.
So come on, spill it from the beginning.
Okay. But I don't think she told us her tale. Should I talk to her again? Look, speak. Let's speak.
That's better. Now, if I understand correctly, your mistress is receiving threats. What kind of threats, exactly?
It's a very strange matter. First, there were letters. Then it came printed on a wine bottle's label, sent as a gift. Then carved into a brick, thrown through the window. And finally, they painted it on the wall of the house in giant red letters.
I think it's time to dig a little deeper. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some routine questions.
Please, that's why I'm here.
Okay, so it looks like we are having 3 icons on the right side of our screen. Let's take a look at them. The notebook. The notebook is the detective's best friend. Here you gather vital information about the case, the suspects or victims, and the locations you will visit. How does it work? Click on any text or picture in your notebook to read the translated version in your language. Okay, cool. Very traditional leather-bound notebook. Let's take a look at our first clue, yeah! The victim, a lady, is the target of some strange threats. All of them are written. Our written has been What is the word? Ah, it doesn't come to me. But this is the point that has been, well, amplified, underlined. Yes, I almost remember the words I'm supposed to use, but it's okay. People. Let's take a look at that. Deborah. Name Deborah Ibanez. Species Impala. Gender female. Special feature pretty and fragile. Nothing too special. Oh my god. This is using all the black and white detective movie tropes here. Pretty and fragile. Nothing too special. You wait and see, she's gonna surprise you. Life is gonna teach our main character, or will. She runs errands for her employer, a sophisticated lady, but I don't think she's from a particularly wealthy or influential family. Okay. This is Hotel Atlas. This used to be a nice place. Now we're competing who gets swallowed by decay first. The hotel's winning, but honestly, I'm not that far behind. Okay, and it looks like we have 3... Can we call these articles? I don't know. I will call them that anyway. The Chicken Police is a famous detective duo. Santino, Sonny Featherland, and Marty McChicken gained the fame through a case the press called the Bloody New Year's Eve. Wait, New Year's Eve, and it's New Year's Eve now. Okay, is that a coincidence? They flew high for almost 10 years when a fateful brawl put an end to their legend. There is a series of novels about them by Meredith H. Marble. They had published 10 books over the course of 7 years before the series faded out of public interest, as did the Chicken Police itself. Okay. City of Clawville. Clawville has been an independent city-state for more than 900 years. During the city's foundation, 4 nations had joined forces, represented by the 4 animal figures and the 4 hands on the crest of Clawville. In reality, the tribal alliance of the reptiles and the great insect clans had also played an essential part in the city's founding, but they never got to be represented on the crest. This gave birth to a political and cultural antagonism between the species. Clawville preserved its political autonomy and the dream that it's the only state in the wilderness where predator and prey of any race can live in peace. Hence the name, the City of 1,000 Colors. That was the sign in our first intro when Sonny was driving, and he was driving past a sign that said City of 1,000 Colors, and he was like, yeah, right. The Wild Ones. 3 gods are revered in most places across the wilderness. They're the Great Wild Ones, who make up the Holy Trinity of creation, destruction, and silence. Hariti is the goddess of creation. Tapti is the lord of destruction, and jeez, these names. Nkvatiti is the genderless ghost of silence and nothingness, keeping the balance between creation and destruction in their never-ending conflict. Okay, so goddess of creation, lord of destruction, and genderless ghost of silence and nothingness. So the third one keeps balance between the Goddess of creation and lord of destruction. Okay, good to know. What happens if I press this? Oh, it switches the pages. Okay, good to know. And the last page is stats. Statistics. Questioning points, scenes visited, achievements unlocked, codex entries found, personal informations found, gallery entries unlocked. Detective rank, greenhorn. Okay, good to know. Can I access these? No, I cannot. Okay, so let's take a look at our room a bit first. What's in this cabinet?
I don't even know where the key is. Whatever's inside is gonna stay there forever.
Okay, yeah, that happens. Occasionally keys get lost. Perhaps we can find them. Okay, so here we have some sort of paintings, but it's pretty dark. Oh yes, we can. Probably. Oh yes. Okay, let's begin from the left to the right. The Wild Gentleman. Oh, okay, so the developer of this game is called The Wild Gentleman. So I wonder if these are actually... We got fox, we got rats, and is that a lioness or cougar? And we got an owl. I wonder if these are like actual references for people working in the studio.
The Wild Gentleman. Those guys rebuilt the city after the Great Fire of 867. My heroes when I was a little chick. I'm starting to think they should have left Clawville as it was, burned to the ground.
Imagine Sonny as a little chick. That sounds way too cute. Celebrity cops from the dump. Chicken police on track. Written by Clawville Chronicle.
We used to be star cops a few years ago. Tabloid press, radio interviews, and even a book series. I don't miss those days. Of course, Marty, my old partner, would disagree. He just loved the spotlight.
No, a painful memory.
This is one of the most beautiful memories from my old life, before Molly left me and took our daughter.
Okay, so you had a wife named Molly. She used to play guitar, and you have a daughter somewhere. Good to know. Good times.
The good things in life don't last long. The best ones always leave first. I saw that in the window of a shoe store. I never understood it, or what it had to do with shoes.
What's... It says MB Davis. Is that supposed to be like a reference for Miles Davis? Because I don't know, let's see what he has to say.
M.B. Davis, the eternal king of jazz. The photo is from the days of jazz prohibition. I only heard the old man live one time, but I'll never forget that night. And not only because I woke up at the harbor without my gun, my badge, and my pants.
Okay, I'm assuming this is supposed to be like reference for Miles Davis, but this is actually quite famous photo of Louis Armstrong, not Miles Davis. So, fun fact, in case you wanted to know, this is a photo of Louis Armstrong, not Miles Davis. But I love the beaver head. Nevertheless, it looks like beaver is jamming hard. I can appreciate it a lot. Okay. Pile of papers.
I don't even know what these papers are.
Okay. Have we checked everything?
My wife took all the good ones. She knew they'd only gathered dust here, and she was right.
Let's take a look at the drawer. Oh, we have cigarettes, Magnum, and police badge.
My wallet and my badge. The wallet is real. The badge ain't. Chief Bloodboil took mine, so I got this one out of a pack of cornflakes, just in case.
Okay, so now I suppose it's been added to our inventory.
My last cigarette. You're lucky I don't have a light, pal.
I wonder how drunk our character is because, like, the edges of his vision occasionally get quite dark and his vision gets blurry.
She doesn't seem so dangerous that I need to grab my gun, but you never know.
Apparently not too drunk to carry a firearm. Okay, let's try to be careful with that. So our client is still here, perhaps we can talk some more.
So, this is the part where the interrogation comes, like in those detective movies.
Something like that, Deborah. Yes.
Okay, so is it now the time to use this question the same thing as interrogation here? Perhaps? Focus on what you know about the suspect. Is he or she suspicious? Come on, just too pronounced. Well, I guess that is part of these really old black and white movies, but still. Concentrate on that. Subject, John Doe. This fella is rather suspicious. I need to concentrate on that. Focus, suspicious. Impressions, suspicious. And then we have something called detective meter. Okay, so focus. He is suspicious. I am suspicious. Why are you suspicious? Okay. Gather impressions from the suspect. Oh, yeah, they go here, okay? Every impression adds a new question line. Good to know. A new impression, question, question, question. So many options. Detective meter is your best friend. It shows how well the questioning is going. Keep it on the positive side, okay? Blah blah, I like that. Plus 100. Detective points? I don't know.
I must be cautious and smart. This dame seems shy, which I can use to my advantage. But I must be careful about what I say to her, or I could scare her off. Let's start gently, and when the time comes, we can go in hard.
Subject, Deborah Ibanez. Focus, I must be cautious and smart. Oh, and now it says the same things our main character just said. Okay, impressions, shy. Now detective meter is like 50%, halfway. Let's begin with our first question. Who exactly are you, ma'am?
Who exactly are you, ma'am?
I'm not somebody important, Mr. Featherland.
You're important enough to deal with such a delicate matter, right?
I carry out the wishes of my employer, nothing more. This means simple paperwork, most of the time.
You've been thrown into deep water, sweetheart. Tell me, can you even swim?
Wow.
Believe me, this is just as unpleasant for me as it is for you, if not even more.
Can you even swim, sweetheart? Sonny, you need to learn some manners. So we have shy and doubtful. Tell me, which part of the city do you live in? Calavera Hills, Flowerville maybe. Or you're not very confident, are you sure you're alright? I'm not gonna tell them they are not very confident. That's rude. We're gonna teach Sonny some manners.
Tell me, which part of the city do you live in? Calavera Hills? Flowerville, maybe?
Look, I don't want to answer that. I'm here on behalf of my employer, and not on personal business.
Fair point, Deborah. Let's try a different approach.
And my options are, why did you have to visit me on this particular evening? Or stop playing the frightened praise sunshine and start singing. I'm gonna choose the kinder option.
Why did you have to visit me this particular evening?
I have my reasons. I may look like a silly little fawn, and maybe I am, but I still have common sense.
I don't doubt that for a second, Miss Ibanez.
This day is essential to my mistress, and she thought it's also important to you.
A message in itself, for sure. But to be honest, even you are.
You know what? I'll just take that as a compliment, even if it wasn't meant as such.
So the date itself has meaning. So this is New Year's Eve, and we had a case that had happened on New Year's Eve. And now our client, or someone who needs our help, Mrs. Ibanez, arrived to our office during this precisely same date. So we have shy, doubtful, and frightened. Do you even know what you want? Rude again? Sonny, really rude? Why did you come to visit me? Why not your employer herself? Were you born and raised in Clawell? I don't think this is any of our business, and this is rude, so I'm gonna choose the option in the middle.
Why did you come to visit me? Why not your employer herself?
My employer is Miss Natasha Katsenko. She hasn't been leaving her home lately, only if she really has to.
How so?
Miss Natasha is afraid. She's scared because of those unwanted messages, and everyone knows who she is.
So she's that kind of woman.
What kind of
I don't know what you
woman?
mean.
Of course you do, Deborah.
What?
Thank you, by the way. We're finally getting somewhere. We avoided the point long enough. Deborah's hiding something, no question. Let's focus on that.
Our main character is making many assumptions here, and some of them seem to be very, very toxic. But you know what? We are gonna teach him. The developers said this is a story about redemption too, so I'm gonna trust that we have a main character who seems like a sexistic asshole in the beginning, but can actually learn and change along this journey. So my options are, what do you want from me? I'm sure it's not intentional, but are you toying with me? How did you get this address, or what exactly did you expect by coming here to meet me? I wonder if I would add a bit of pressure, but still try to be polite. Because she still hasn't told what she wants from me. She has told that her mistress has received threats, but we still haven't, and she has told her mistress's name, but we still don't know what she wants from us.
I'm sure it's not intentional, but are you toying with me?
I'm not sure I understand you. Mr. Featherland.
Cut the crap, Deborah. You're a pretty smart girl, and you can't hide that no matter how hard you try. But ever since we've been talking, I couldn't force one single straight answer out of you. I'm starting to think I'm terrible at what I do.
I'm sorry, Mr. Featherland, you're right. I'll try to be more straightforward next time.
I appreciate that, ma'am.
Sonny, you're talking in an old-fashioned way, but we'll fix that, okay? Do you think you're cut out for this kind of work? It's none of our character's business. Are you in some sort of jam? This is just too risky for me, I can't take the case. Let's pretend you never found me here, okay? I'm gonna choose the second option.
Are you in some sort of jam?
Nothing of the sort. There are simply things better left unsaid.
Then you're wasting my time.
I trust your instincts. You'll manage it.
Yeah, and I have no other choice, right?
To be honest, no, Mr. Featherland. Not really.
Don't you think this whole thing is a little suspicious? Have you ever felt truly vulnerable? What is this question? Let's take a look at our... what is this? Is it notepad? What is the word? I don't know. We've avoided the point long enough. Deborah is hiding something, no question. Let's focus on that. Impressions: shy, doubtful, frightened, hiding something. And our detective meter has gotten up a little bit. I'm gonna ask the first question.
Don't you think this whole thing is a little suspicious?
Look, Santino. I'll explain everything.
I have no doubt about that. You look just the type, sweetheart. No offense.
I'll take that as a compliment. Or maybe I'll act like I haven't heard it.
You see, we're starting to understand each other.
Sonny, you're gonna have to learn some manners. If you won't come clean, what's the point of all this? Tell me, Deborah, why should I believe you at all? I'm gonna ask the first question.
If you won't come clean, what's the point of all this?
But, Mr. Featherland...
I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I'm way too old for this game.
Please, just think again. For me and my mistress's sake.
And now I have only one option and my detective meter went down. Okay.
Tell me, Deborah, why should I believe you at all?
Because my mistress trusts you.
Should that be enough?
If you really like what she thinks you are, then yes.
Damn, what can I say to that?
Look, I didn't mean to back you up against the wall.
You have a way with words, sweetheart. Did you ever want to be a cop?
No, not for the world.
Heh, smart answer.
Be honest and tell me what you are so afraid of.
Be honest and tell me what you're so afraid of.
You know, Mr. Featherland, my mistress's partner is Hobart Wessler. Or as most people know him...
Ibn Wessler, the Kingpin.
Exactly.
Feathery gods, help me.
So you get it now. The secrecy.
To put it mildly, I think I understand it all. Wessler. This little piece of the puzzle changes everything.
Okay, so questioning rank 4 stars out of 5. Questions asked 10, focus accuracy 60%, decent cop. Deborah Ibanez, final thoughts. That's how you do it, partner. Not quite like old times, but you still got it. The old Rooster still remembers some tricks, eh? Important clue. The employer, Natasha's current significant other, is the infamous gangster Ibn Wessler. retry or continue? I'm gonna continue. Okay, good to know. Now we actually find a way somewhere and we can... Let's take a look at what we have now in our bag. Okay. The inventory. Here you will store all the essential items throughout the case. Okay.
I haven't dusted you off in a while, partner. Looks like I may be needing you now. Oh man, I totally get you. Ironic, but ever since I've been on furlough, with only my fake badge sitting in my cabinet, I feel more like a cop than I ever had before. More like a Clawville cop, anyway.
Okay, good to know. And we have some new clues. The mysterious messenger, Miss Deborah Ibanez's employer, is a certain Miss Natasha Katzenko. The employer, Natasha's current significant other, is the infamous gangster, Eben Wessler. More information about Deborah. She's afraid and she's secretive, or she's just secretive and an outstanding actress. In any case, not everything she told me is true. I'm pretty sure about that. Her employer currently bolsters the ranks of Eben Wessler. To put it mildly, this explains the cloud of fear surrounding Miss Ibanez. And we have a new character. Name Natasha Gazenko. Species cat. Gender female. Special feature, she has remarkably green eyes. And she's definitely in trouble. So am I. How do you know she has remarkably green eyes? Oh yes, she was somehow famous. Personal info. She is the employer of Miss Deborah Ibanez. Allegedly, she is receiving serious threats. Currently the girlfriend of the notorious gangster Eben Wessler. This explains a lot of things, mainly the excessive secrecy. And we have a new character here. Name Howard Eben Wessler. Species rat. Special feature good looking, charismatic, and a clocking gangster. Personal info. One of the most well-known gangsters of Clawville. Real estate mogul, bank director, museum owner, distiller, smuggler, and information broker. And that's only the half of what I've heard about him. He has his dirty little paws everywhere in the city's underworld. Okay. No new places, no new codex entries, and we're still Greenholm, but we have a decent cop stamp here and a couple more points, I guess, in our statistics. So, let's talk to her again.
Why don't you take it to the police? Just go there and file a report. Photos, flashing lights, fingerprints, you know the drill. The evidence is very clear. Even a moderately talented detective could easily wrap this case up. Or just try the phone. 555-111.
Please, take a look at this.
Well, okay. Let's see.
I know Molly very well. Please note this when deciding whether or not to accept my assignment. Miss Ibanez is a trusted friend. Treat her as gentleman. N.
Tsar Club, the most colorful club of the most colorful city. My city's on fire. Branded new hit from the Queen of the Night. Okay, good to know.
I felt like I'd been hit on the back of my head with a blackjack. Reality tilted. Molly. Good gods. What was her name doing there? I glanced at the opposite wall, with the well-worn picture frames. Like an eternally dark hole in the wall. A missing piece. She was wearing a light silk dress and singing a lullaby. The waves caressing her beautiful long legs. Why Molly? Why now?
Mr. Featherland? Santino, are you all right?
What the hell is this supposed to mean?
I don't know anything, Mr. Santino. My mistress told me to give this to you. She said you'd understand. Don't you?
Oh, of course I understand, Miss Ibanez. I get it very well. But this case is becoming more and more confusing. It's starting to look like blackmail.
Blackmail?
Don't play innocent with me.
But...
All right. When can I visit?
Visit? Me?
Not you. Miss Katsenko.
Oh, yes. You can find her at the Tsar Club.
Didn't you tell me she's not the social kind? That she's especially unsociable? Or does she only like loud and crowded clubs?
No, she's really not like that. But she owns the place.
Judging by the flyer, it must be a very busy club, especially on New Year's Eve, right?
I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding Miss Katsenko, but there's one small problem, Mr. Featherland.
Let me guess. Mr. Wessler better not know about my visit.
Exactly. How did you know?
20 years experience, ma'am. Oh, and please, call me Sonny.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Sonny.
I'll talk about the rest with Ms. Katsenko in person. A good friend of mine would be happy to take you home if you'd like.
I'd appreciate that, Sonny.
Okay, let's take a look at our book. I'll find Natasha at the Tsar Club. Natasha must know my wife Molly from somewhere, or perhaps she has very good informants. I must find out what the connection is. People, Natasha, she owns the Tsar Club. Name, Louis C. Hayworth. Species, rabbit. Gender, male. Special feature, an old friend of mine. He is stuttering heavily when he talks. Personal info. Louis is the owner of the once reputable Atlas Hotel and a good old friend of mine. At the moment, he's my landlord. It's only the two of us living in this unbelievably enormous hotel. He's crazy about detective stories, and he gladly helps me whenever I ask him. Sounds too good. Louis's number 555932. Do I need to remember that? I'm gonna write it down. Places. Tsar Club, one of the most famous nightclubs in the city. Owners of the juiciest booties and hardest fists frequent the place, and it's famous for not serving cops, except if they're knee-deep in the dirt. Okay, good to know. So I suppose we're gonna have to call to our... Oh, we didn't need to memorize the number. Oh, we did need to memorize the number. Okay. So 5, 5, 5, 9, 3, 2.
Hey, Lewis. Am I bothering you?
No. Of course not, Sonny. Old friend, what's up?
Could you come over? I've got a favor to ask if you're not busy.
For you, anything. Just a minute.
Lewis arrived a few minutes later. He lived in the rooms above, so it wasn't difficult getting here. Not to mention that he's a rabbit. It was a quick hop. The Atlas Hotel was his inheritance. It was once a well-renowned place, but not anymore. The last economic crisis ruined it. And now, besides me, he was the only resident of this enormous place.
Okay. I gotta say, I love the sounds of rain and thunder. They really bring this whole atmosphere together. So Lewis, let's look at Lewis.
The good old rabbit. I can always count on him, even on New Year's Eve. Thanks for being so quick, Lewis. Can you drive Miss Ibanez home? I have some things to take care of.
Of course, Sonny. You know, anything for you.
Thank you for being so considerate, Sonny. I appreciate it.
Don't mention it.
Goodbye, then.
So long, Deborah. Before I visit the club, I have to take a detour. I've got a feeling that this case isn't going to be a one-man job. And there's only one bird in this city I can trust. My ex-partner, Marty. He's going to be at the station. I can only hope he'll be willing to talk to me.
Okay. I'm looking forward to meeting Marty. This was the bedroom door. Lowell Police Department. The HQ of the department, aka the Meat Grinder. A huge dark building for shady people. And I don't necessarily mean those who are sitting in the jail. Okay, good to know. So is Marty the one who is corrupted too? Let's take a look. Scene types. Main scenes move the story forward. These scenes also determine which locations open up or close down. You need to complete all of these if you want to beat the game. Limited scenes. Limited scenes are open for a specific duration, which is determined by the main story progression. If you are a completionist, be sure to visit all of them before you move to the next main scene. Okay? Closed scenes. Closed scenes cannot be reached for the time being. This state will often change throughout the story progression and can be temporary or permanent. Top tip. Pick the next main scene if you are absolutely sure you don't want to visit any of the available limited scenes anymore. You may not be able to visit them later. Okay. Good to know. So it looks like there are several locked scenes here, and we only have one option, which is the Clawville Police Department. Then I suppose it is time to go there next and see what kind of place it will be.